Okay, Social Doc, interview 12, take 1.
I lost my voice doing karaoke, that's what I get.
Hello, I'm Travis Walton. I'm the subject of the movie Fire in the Sky and the author of the book by the same name. There are things that happen that are outside your normal experience that you need to take an open-minded look at. In November of 1975, I was working in the woods with a crew of 6 other men. On the way home, we encountered a large glowing object hovering near the road. I got out, went up for a closer look. I was hit by a powerful bolt of energy from this craft and knocked unconscious. When I woke up, I was on board the craft. The men returned to find that the craft had taken me and then proceeded to the sheriff to try to get help. And there was a massive manhunt for 5 days looking for me, during which the crew was accused of murdering me and making up a story to cover up for what they'd done. They volunteered to take lie detector tests from the state police polygraph examiner. And when they passed, it was just a matter of them resorting to other ways to try to explain it away any way they could. There was the theory that it was all a drug hallucination, or that it was a hoax, or that it was a transitory psychosis that I'd gone through. But what none of these theories take into consideration is how do 7 people have the same hallucination? I myself have passed 5 different lie detector tests from 3 different examiners, all of whom were associated with law enforcement. I underwent a whole battery of psychiatric examinations and a whole lot of testing that completely disprove these theories, but it seems like it never ends here 35 years later. One of the things that made me resist having a movie made for so long was the fear that it would be distorted, and even promises to the contrary. It turned out that way, over the objections of myself and the scriptwriter that took on the project. But Hollywood in the past has tended to portray aliens as invaders or monsters or as this negative force, and I don't necessarily think that that's a valid interpretation of what's going on. So I'm really hoping that the media will sort of evolve in their presentation of beings from other worlds. There have been, more sensible representations in the media, and I hope the trend continues more in that direction. A lot of people say they envy my experience and that they wish they had something like this happen to them too. And I've often said I wouldn't wish it off on anybody except maybe the skeptics who attacked me so vigorously. They can have it. But I found out lately that one of the guys on the crew had gone back and camped out overnight on the site. Apparently he hoped it would happen to him, or wish it had. But I told him, man, you don't want to have this kind of thing happen to you. Apparently he does, but were such a thing to happen today, it would probably not be as bad as it was back then. At that time, they didn't know of a single planet outside of our solar system, and now they know of hundreds, and many of them Earth-like. So that and the routineness of space shuttle missions, the whole generation after generation of movies about space travel and things, I think the public awareness of the possibilities of what's in our galaxy and the universe, makes people realize that that's not such a stretch. Skeptics tend to pride themselves in calling themselves that, but actually they ought to be embarrassed, because skepticism doesn't mean no clear thinking person. Skeptic is on the opposite end of the scale from gullible. There's gullible fools and skeptical fools. What you want to be is the rational, objective person in the middle, who first takes a look at the evidence and weighs and evaluates, and then makes a decision on just, how much confidence you can place in the validity of what the question you're examining. So again, you have to have a balanced point of view. You don't go in believing everything, and you don't go in rejecting everything and then just looking for something to shore up your preconceived belief. I would say that overall, you know, I've said for many years that I wish I'd never got out of the truck. In that sense, I wish it never happened, but you know, you have to go from where you are. And so I've worked hard at not letting it take over my life, you know. I've raised a family and it never dominated the household or became the theme of our existence in any way. Not like a taboo subject, but just something that I tried to, you know, have a lot of balance in our lives and, you know, just normal stuff day to day. Yeah, I think it's important for people to get the word out, you know, to just sort of, you know, challenge the orthodoxy and let people, you know, kind of re-examine things. Like I said, it's not all true, but there's a lot of good solid cases out there that people will come to realize are valid if they would just examine it. In my book, I quote Emerson, condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance. So all I ask is that people first just take a look at the evidence.